Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture. In this class, we are going to begin with chapter 7 of class 7 English Grammar Nagaland Board, which is verbs expressing the present. Now, in the previous chapter, we had learnt about the different types of verbs and we also understood what exactly a verb is. Now in this chapter, we shall learn how to use the verbs in order to express the events taking place in the present. Now, first of all, the verb can be used in two ways. It can either be used as an ordinary verb or it can be used to form the other tenses, Either you can use the verb as it is, or you may take the help of a verb in order to form other tenses. For example, the sun is hot. In this sentence, the present form of be, that is used in the form of an ordinary verb, right? However, if we look at the second sentence which says she is playing, in this sentence the verb is playing is used. So in this sentence we used is in order to form a sentence in the present continuous tense. And when a verb is used along with the other verbs in order to form a tense, it is known as an auxiliary verb. So a verb can either be used as an ordinary verb or it can help in the formation of some tenses. So when a verb is used to form a tense, it is known as an auxiliary verb. For example, let us read this conversation here. I am sorry, sir. I am late, said Mr. Bajaj. You are always late, said the officer. Then, as he looked around the office, he said, where is Miss Sharma? Is she also late? Miss Sharma, who was sitting on the last chair, said, no, sir, I am not late. I am on time, but Mr. Bhalla is late. So if you look at this entire conversation, we have used the present forms of the verb be, that is, am, and are, as ordinary verbs in the entire conversation. Therefore, as I told you that all the words that were highlighted in the above conversation were the present tense of the verb be. So we can, at times use the short forms of these verb forms of be as well. Let us understand that better. So as I told you, if let's say my sentence can either be positive or it can be negative or it can be interrogative. Right? So let us first talk about the positive structure, the positive forms of the verb be. So, I am, and the contraction of the same, the short form of the same is going to be I apostrophe am. He is changes to he apostrophe s. She is changes to she apostrophe is. It is changes to it apostrophe is. They are changes to they apostrophe re. We are changes to we apostrophe re. And you are changes to you apostrophe re. So this is how we frame the contractions of these verb forms. Let us talk about the negative sentence now, the negative structure now. I am not changes to I apostrophe am and not. We are not changes to we are not. You are not changes to this. He is not changes to he's not. She is not changes to she's not. It is not changes to it's not. And they are not changes to they are not. Alright? Talking about the interrogative sentences. Am I? Are we? Are you? Is he? Is she? Is it? Are they? So this is how the structure is going to be in case of an interrogative sentence. Let us now talk about how to use the contractions of the verb form be in a negative sentence. So, we are not, how is this? We know this is what? We plus are plus not. This can be written as we aren't, as you can see here. Similarly, he is not, that is he plus is plus not, can be written as he isn't. You are not, that is you plus are plus not, can be written as you aren't. She is not can be written as she plus isn't. So she plus is plus not can be written as she isn't. Similarly, if we talk about the negative interrogative forms, are we not can be written as aren't we? Is he not can be written as isn't he? Are you not can be written as aren't you? Is she not can be written as isn't she? So this is how we use contractions in negative as well as in the negative interrogative form. If I say, am I not clever? Now, am I not? Please remember, is written as aren't I, or we can also use and I for the same. Alright, so if I have to say, am I not clever? The short form of the same will be, aren't I clever? Or, am I clever? So this is how we can use the verb forms either originally or with their short form. Just like be, we have the different forms of the verb have also. If I talk about have, again, It can either be positive or it can be negative or it can be interrogative. Right? Just the way we've learnt about. Positive sentence also, if I'm talking about have, then I have, and the short form becomes I apostrophe P. You have, and the short form becomes you apostrophe VE. We have, and the short form becomes we apostrophe VE. He has, and the short form becomes he apostrophe S. She has, and the short form becomes she apostrophe S. It has, and the short form becomes it apostrophe S. And they have, the short form becomes they apostrophe. So this is how the present forms of the verb have will be. Talking about the negative structure, I have not. Short form becomes I have not. You have not, and the short form becomes you not. We have not, and the short form becomes we've not. He has not, the short form is not. She has not, and the short form becomes she is not. It has not, and the short form becomes it's not. And they have not changes to they've not. Alright? And talking about the interrogative, have I, have you, have we, has he, has she, has it, and have they. So this is how the different forms of the verb have will be in the present form. Let us look at some of the examples now. I have no thread can be written as I have no thread. It can also be written as I haven't any thread. And it can also be written as I don't have any thread. So these are the three different forms in which we can use have in a negative sentence structure. Similarly, we have no kites changes to we've no kites, or we haven't any kites, or we don't have any kites. Alright? When we talk about framing a question, have you any kite? Do you have any kite? Or has he some money to spare? Or does he have some money to spare? So these are the two ways in which I can frame a question using the present form of have. We also have the negative interrogative form. I have not changes to haven't I? Have you not changes to haven't you? I don't have changes to don't I have, and have you not can also be written as don't you have. So these are the negative interrogative forms. Now let us talk about the present tense, the simple present tense. When we talk about the simple present tense, what is the kind of structure that the simple present tense will have? Again, if I talk about the positive, negative, and interrogative, okay? So with positive, it becomes I. Let me take the example work. So I work, we, you, they work, and he, she, and it works. The negative, I do not work, we, you, they do not work, he, she, it does not work. Alright, moving on to interrogative. Do I work? Do we or do you or do they work? And does he, does she, does it work? So these are the different structures of the simple present tense in the positive, negative, and the interrogative form. Now let us understand them. So in the simple present tense, we normally use the main form of the verb, that is the present form of the verb, and with the third person singular subjects and he, she, and it, we will always add s or es to the end of the main verb. He cooks, she dances, it rains. So third person singular subject, we will always add an s or es at the end of it in the simple present tense. Now the short form of do not is don't and does not is doesn't. Let us talk about the negative interrogative forms now. Do you play changes to don't you play? Does he not play changes to doesn't he play? What is the sentence structure of a simple present tense? If we are framing an interrogative sentence out of it, we will use the question word followed by either do or does plus the subject plus the present tense of the main verb. Alright? Where do you play? Where does he play? So you see, where plus do. Why did I use do? Because my subject is you. And with you we use do. Where does he play? Here my subject is he, so I will use does with. Where do we use the simple present tense? We use the simple present tense to talk about those actions which are taking place at the present moment. For example, Anurag plays cricket, animals eat grass for food, people plant trees to get more oxygen. Okay. Second, we use the simple present tense to talk about some habitual action, some habit or some actions that are taking place repeatedly. For example, monkeys uh, eat bananas. This is a habit that we are talking about. We take exercise daily. This is a repeated action. I go for a walk every morning. This is again a repeated action. Okay. Next, we use the simple present tense to talk about the universal truth, things that cannot be denied. For example, the earth moves round the sun. This is a universal truth, right? A magnet attracts iron, or water boils at 100 degrees. So these are all what? The universal truths. Next, we use the simple present tense to talk about the proverbs. A few proverbs are always written in the present tense. Slow and steady wins the race. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Barking dogs seldom bite, and so on and so forth. Alright? So, the reason we use the simple present tense in Proverbs is because they talk about truths which are permanent in nature. Moreover, words such as never, always, often, seldom, sometimes, usually, generally, every day, on Sundays, etc., are used along with the simple present tense. Okay? Let us now look at this question. Fill in the blank with the suitable being words. Alright, so she is a beautiful girl. They are late again. The weather is hot today. It is very hot today. I am not well today. It is already dark. Exercise number 2 says, rewrite the following sentences, changing the being words, that is, am, are, to the negative, interrogative, and negative interrogative forms. So we have to use the short forms or the contractions. For example, the weather is very nice today. The negative of it becomes the weather is not or isn't very nice today. The interrogative becomes, is the weather very nice today? Negative interrogative becomes, is the weather not very nice today? And interrogative becomes, isn't the weather very nice today? Now there are in total 8 sentences. I'm going to discuss the first 4 with you. Since I do not have ample space, I'm simply going to discuss these with you orally. So the dog is asleep, positive. Negative, the dog is not asleep. Then comes, is the dog asleep? And the negative interrogative becomes, isn't the dog asleep? So this was the first sentence. Second sentence is, these cases are very heavy. The positive is, these cases are very heavy. The negative becomes, these cases are not very heavy or aren't very heavy. Interrogative, are these cases very heavy? And negative interrogative, aren't these cases very heavy? The third sentence, I am tired. Negative, I am not tired. Interrogative, am I tired? Negative interrogative, aren't I or aren't I tired? Okay. Fourth sentence, people are in the hall to hear the leader's speech. So this is positive. Negative, the people are not in the hall to hear the leader's speech. Interrogative, are the people in the hall to hear the leader's speech? And negative interrogative, aren't the people in the hall to hear the leader's speech? So this is how we are going to solve